So our goal is to turn these into rectangles. We'll talk about it in a minute. Okay, let me get your attention, folks. It seems like most people are able to figure out how to do the parallelogram. If you just kind of cut one of these little triangles off to make a right triangle, then you can take that thing and kind of move it over to the other side and create a rectangle like so. Sorry, let me get it onto a pink background. So to do the parallelogram, you could just cut a triangle off of one side and move it over. Trapezoid's a little bit trickier. I think there's other ways to do this, but the way that I know is to cut it down the center. So you're gonna end up making a really long rectangle. So we cut it down the center like this, and then if we flip one of the sides over like this, now it's a big parallelogram. And then I can cut a triangle off of this end and move it over here, and then that'll make it into a rectangle. So there are different ways of doing it, but I'm going to show you this way because this is going to lead us to our notes for today, which are the formulas for these two areas. So I cut this little guy off, and I'm just going to, I flipped it, let me flip it back. I cut this little guy off, and I'm just going to move it right around to here, and that'll make that nice rectangle. All right, the big thing, the reason we're doing this, can I get your eyes up here for a second? If you've got your pink sheet, I'll have you get it out in a minute, but just pay attention for right now. The reason we're doing this is I want us to come up with the formulas for these two things, and I've already written the one for trapezoid down here. So look at this one. Notice that this rectangle, if I were to ask you how wide is it in terms of B1 and B2? How wide is it in terms of B1 and B2? What would you do with B1 and B2 to tell me the overall width of this rectangle? You would add them together. So the bottom of this is B1 plus B2, agreed? How tall is it in terms of H? It's half of H. So if I multiply half of H times parentheses B1 plus B2, that gets us our trapezoid, which I don't have written down here, so let me write it down. The formula for the area of a trapezoid is half of H times B1 plus B2. Half of H plus B1 plus times B1 plus B2. And it would probably be a good idea to draw a trapezoid on here also. And that's true for any trapezoid because for any trapezoid we could cut it down to half across the height like we just did. And then turn it into that long rectangle that was B1 plus B2 wide and half of H tall. What was the area for our parallelogram in terms of B and H? It was just base times height. Question? Okay. You know where the extra copies are? One of those trays is labeled geometry. It's really important for 3 of the shapes on our sheet here that the base and the height has to be perpendicular. You guys remember what perpendicular means, right? Makes it a 90-degree angle. That's true for parallelogram, for a trapezoid, and for a triangle. The base and the height have to be perpendicular. All right, so I'm going to keep our lesson short today. You guys all right with that? Okay, our lesson's done. That's it. Very short. Actually, the only thing that I would like you to do to finish it up, in your packet, there's a few problems. They're right here. Finish those up and we're good to go. You can start on the next assignment, which is going to be 2.2.3. Let's make sure we write our due date down so there's no confusion this time around. Please recycle your paper scraps before you leave today. This is going to be due on Friday the 25th. 2.2.3 is due on Friday the 25th. Find me some areas here. I'll put my answers up on the screen here in a moment so you can check against them. Folks, this sheet that you did last class on Monday, I'm going to be checking this on Friday. You have to have your vocabulary terms on the paper to get credit for this on Friday. If you haven't done that, please do so. I'll get you answers on Friday. Thank you for your attention. Get to work.